Hello, I thought you might like a bit of a quick update on how things are progressing or the kind of stuff that I'm doing to prepare. I've just got off the phone, I've been on the phone to various people, cancelling all my, letting people know that I'm moving out of my flat and cancelling my direct debit. So I've had some interesting conversations with Leicester City Council and Severn Trent Water about nuns, and then I just had a really nice conversation with the guy from Sky. Um, he was asking if nuns use internet, and he was actually fascinated and really surprised at how much internet is used in religious life. So that was a really nice conversation. So I've been doing that, and then before I was making all those phone calls, I was trying to go through all my box files because for years I've tried to just keep a few kind of souvenirs of different bits and pieces. I usually like stuff from school and stuff from uni and stuff from when I was training to be a priest and just generally sort of nostalgic stuff. But then, and I even tried to be selective with how much I kept of that, and I got it down to about a quarter of what it used to be. But even now, so much of the stuff I keep, it's still a burden, and I never look at it, and it's just like a burden in the sense of it's just always there, and every time I move I've got to find somewhere to keep it. And I mean things like photos and old just bits and pieces of paper, like from drama productions I used to be in, or um, random poems and bits of music I wrote in the past, and the stuff that I never actually look at, I just sort of keep it. And so I decided to be even more like severe today in getting rid of things, and really even reduce that to just a few pages for each part of my life. So like, for example, here I've got just a little thing from my 10 years at school, and I've literally only kept about 12 pieces of paper now, and I used to have sort of folders and folders of stuff. I thought some of these things might make you laugh, so that's my drawing of the feudal system from when I was about 9 or something. This is I got a scholarship to go away to school. This is me on my first day at school, and look at my duvet cover with hot air balloons and stuff. I was about 8 there, and then that was my first day at school. Then my last day at school, when I used to love playing pranks and stuff at school. I did an art attack where I took loads of school sports kit, and on a lawn, this was like massive. I made the school crest using sports kit, like tennis skirts, and I did all the shadowing with navy socks and stuff. But that was my kind of prank type thing for the last day at school. That's just a few pages I've kept from school days because they're funny. And I've kept like obviously degree certificates and exam certificates and stuff. And then the last thing that I've really reduced is I had so much paperwork from when I was training to be a priest on my masters and stuff, and I thought I kept a lot of the papers that I wrote, and I never read them, and I can probably find them in my email archives. Actually, I probably emailed the papers to myself, so I've decided to get rid of those rather than having to house them everywhere I live. And I had so much assessment stuff from like feedback and all this like report stuff from when I was training, and I've literally reduced that just to a handful of letters and things from like when I went to selection conference and when I was training like, for my placements. But just to end, I thought this was quite interesting because this was written in 2005, and if you've seen my other videos about my kind of like I'm in this sort of very long-winded discernment process, that I talk a bit in some of my videos about one of the big features of my kind of story is God asking me to. A lot of us thought God was asking me to become a priest, but now some of us are wondering if it's actually to religious life instead, and that's a good question. That might be something that other people are wondering: am I called to be a priest or to go into religious life? But this is just very interesting, these two sentences that summarised. This is my selection conference report from 2005, but their final two sentences that sum up the report. It's just very interesting reading this in hindsight, thinking that I might have a vocation in religious life because it just shows the overlap. They say, "We believe that Lizzie has a lifetime to give in ordained ministry. and that she will offer significant leadership in the church. There may be a spell as a theological educator for her, but we believe that parochial ministry and work among the marginalised will also be significant aspects of her priesthood. And that's very, especially the marginalised bit, that's very interesting to see how those two sentences have actually played out over the years in other avenues or something like that. So this is, I'm sat in my prayer corner just surrounded by box files and paper here, which you can't see, but this is basically what I'm up to today. But I thought some of that might interest you. So yeah, that's my update.